May 9th, 2015, from the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. It was Game 3 from the 2015 NBA Playoff Round 2 matchup between the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards. And what a game this was. DeMarre Carroll hit the first shot for the Hawks, and then Paul Pierce drained a three for the Wizards. And then later on, after one, it would be a 10-point lead for Washington with the score 28-18. Then in the second quarter, the Wizards would continue to push their lead, and with about 2.5 minutes left before halftime, Paul Pierce hit a three-pointer to make it an 18-point lead at 54-36. But then with 30 seconds left, Paul Millsap hit a three-pointer for the Hawks to make it a 13-point game at halftime with the score 56-43 with the home team in the lead. So then in the third, the Wizards would continue to push their lead. Gooden hit a three-pointer with about a minute and a half left. It made it 83-65. Then a free throw by Bazemore, and then a couple of free throws by Garrett Temple for the Wizards would make it 85-66 at the end of the third quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, it would be a 21-point lead for Washington, and they led by as much as 20 with about 7.5 to play. But then the Hawks went on a 17-0 run, and they went from 94-74 to 94-91. So it was a 3-point game with about 3 minutes left as they went on a 17-0 run in about a 4-minute span. Bradley Beal then brought the run to a close with a 16-footer, and then Schroder responded with a 2-point shot. Gortat ended up putting one in, and that was a 5-point lead for the Wizards. Then Otto Porter Jr. would go to the foul line. He missed the first, he made the second, so now it was a 6-point lead. And then Schroder ends up driving the lane and drawing the foul, so he goes to the line, he completes the and one, and the 3-point play made it a 3-point game at 99-96. Schroder would end up drawing another foul, and he ended up hitting both free throws to make it a 1-point game with less than 25 seconds left. So it was 99-98. And then Bynum would end up going to the line as he drew a foul. He hit both free throws, and now it was a 3-point game at 101-98. Now at this point, Schroder would end up driving to the right side. He ended up hitting the floor. He was down on the ground, but he just desperately passes it out to a wide open Mike Muscala, and Muscala puts it in for a long three-pointer. Boom, 101 with just 14 seconds left. So the Wizards would take a timeout. Now coming out of the timeout, they would inbound it. Bradley Beal had the ball, and then he gave it to Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce looked like he might have been in a tough position, but not really, as Horford had went off to cover Beal, and he ended up drawing Dennis Schroder. So he had, Horford went to cover Bynum, and so Schroder was now on Paul Pierce, so he had him with a mismatch as he's a good 6 inches taller than him at least. And so Paul Pierce was right there, and then as time was expiring, he faded, he threw up the jumper, and it goes in, the long deuce off the glass. Paul Pierce, the truth, sets him free. Paul Pierce, the truth, with the game winner at the buzzer. 103-101. The Wizards take game 3. They go up 2-1 in the series. What an amazing clutch shot by Paul Pierce as he bookends this game. He started the game with the scoring-wise for the Wizards. He hit their first shot with a three-pointer, and then he hits the game winner. So he hit the first shot for the Wizards, and he hit the last shot for the Wizards to win this one. It's an amazing performance by Paul Pierce, coming up super clutch when they needed him the most. They were up by 21 in the fourth, and they were up by 20 with 7 minutes left. So they went from as many as 21 to even 20 with 7 left to a tie game to winning it with a buzzer beater. Just what an amazing game. It looked like, it was going to be a boring game when they were up by 20, but then they go on that 17-0 run, and then just the amazing end. Muscala with that three-pointer to tie it was just crazy, and then Paul Pierce hitting that buzzer beater, just high drama. you can only get this in basketball. I was jumping out of my seat, screaming at the top of my lungs, watching this one. Just so much excitement in the end of this game. It was a wild one in Washington. And in this game, Paul Pierce had 13 points and was 3 for 7 from downtown. He had 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Nene Hilario had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Bradley Beal, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. Marcin Gortat, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. Ramon Sessions, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. And off the bench, Otto Porter Jr., 17 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Bynum had 9 points and 1 assist. Garrett Temple had 3 points and 1 rebound, 1 steal. And Gooden, 5 points, 5 rebounds, and a block. And for the Hawks, Al Horford ended up leaving the game actually due to injury, but he had a double-double with 12 points and 10 rebounds and 4 assists and 2 blocks. Teague, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. DeMarre Carroll, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. Off the bench, Schroder was tied for their leading scorer with Teague with 18 points. He also had 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. And Paul Millsap had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. But a crazy game. It was all Wizards early on. But then the Hawks just wouldn't give up. They kept fighting. They did show a lot of resilience to come all the way back. But at the very last second, Paul Pierce coming up super clutch. And after the game, Chris Broussard asked him if he called glass, and he said, I called game. I called game. So Paul Pierce, he said, hey, I was able to draw the smaller defender, because he asked him, it looked like you were like stuck and that you were trying to get the ball to Beal, like as if it was designed to go to him. He said, no. He said, I was trying to get Beal to give me space because I had the smaller defender. I had drawn the smaller defender. When Corver went over to go for Bynum, Schroder had to come off Bynum and go over to Pierce to pick him up. So then that's when he got that mismatch, and that's how he was able to make that shot over him. So, what an ending. In this game, though, the Wizards shot 35.7% from downtown, 30.4% for the Hawks, and the Wizards shot 47.4% from the field, 44.4% for Atlanta. And from the free throw line, they both went there 29 times. The Wizards hit 19 and the Hawks hit 22. So 75.9% for the Hawks, 65.5% for the Wizards. The Wizards won the battle of the boards 43-38, getting more offensive and defensive rebounds and more total rebounds overall. They also had more assists, 27-23. But the Hawks had more steals, 10-5, and the Wizards had more blocks, 5-3. Just a crazy game. The numbers actually come out pretty even, though the Wizards had a slight advantage in most categories, but the Hawks were able to get back in it as they were forcing the turnovers in the fourth quarter, and they were drawing the fouls, getting to the free throw line. But in the end, the truth, Paul Pierce with the game winner at the buzzer. And the final score in Game 3 is the Wizards take the 2-1 lead in the series. Washington 103, Atlanta 101.